Willie Walsh, the chief exec of IAG, owners of British Airways, Iberia and other airlines, has left the building. He's finally retired several months after he first said that he would. The COVID pandemic forced him to delay his retirement. Willie Walsh has been at the helm of an airline for more than 15 years. First, he was a pilot for Aer Lingus, then chief executive of Aer Lingus, before 15 years ago joining British Airways as the CEO. He put together the group IAG, bringing in other airlines, and now finally says it's time to go. He spoke to me just before he turned in the keys.
It's a very long time, and to be honest, I never thought I would do that. When I signed up for British Airways, I assumed it would be 3 to 5 years. You know, the average tenure of a FTSE 100 CEO is still only 5 years. So to have done 15 years plus, I have to be honest, Richard, it's not what I had expected, but I've enjoyed every minute of it.
The one thing that comes back to me when I review, your time at Aer Lingus, your time at BA, your time at IAG, you seem to have a I won't say a love of a fight. You closed BA in 2010, or the unions did, and you saw that fight.
Willie!
At Aer Lingus, you had problems, work management problems, and the whole management bad. Do you go round spoiling for fights?
Quite the opposite. I don't believe in looking for a fight, but I've always been clear I'm not going to walk away from one. So if you look at my career, yes, I have had a few skirmishes along the way, but none of them started by me. Where we've faced challenge, I've been absolutely clear. You need determination to see your way through, and I think I have that determination. I don't know where it comes from, probably from my parents, but I don't look for a fight, but I'm not going to walk away if somebody wants to pick one with me.
There have been times, and I'm not being uncharitable here, where you've not exactly been the most popular CEO.
But you don't do this job to be popular, and I've always been clear on that. I realized very early on in my career that if you were to run your business to satisfy the press or to be popular with people, you would go out of business, because the airline industry is brutally competitive. And to succeed, you have to be prepared to take decisions that are unpopular. And I think that's what leadership is about. Good leaders will face up to difficult challenges. I know lots of people who, when it comes to the crunch, don't like to give bad news and don't like to face difficult decisions. I've never had a problem with that. And that may come from my training as a pilot, where you don't have the opportunity to put everything on hold and wait for people to decide what you do. You have to, as a pilot, and particularly as a captain, you have to be ready to make decisions and to assess everything quickly. Make decisions in the interests of safety and move on. So, I've never sought to be popular, and I'm popular with my friends, but I probably have fewer than most people.
The ability to drive forward change in the airline industry, which is the most complicated, and the capital costs and all of those sort of things. Did you ever? What was your moment of doubt? In 2010, look, you're shaking your head before we've even.
No, I've never had any doubts, and you can't. I've been really lucky in my career. I've got to where I am, not because I was the best or most qualified person, but I was the person in the right place at the right time, and the person who took the risk. Because it's no secret, I became the CEO of Aer Lingus because nobody else wanted the job. Other people were offered it and they turned it down because they saw an airline in crisis that was unlikely to survive. So, I became the CEO, and I'm not trying to rewrite history here. I know myself. I became the CEO because nobody else wanted that job. So, I happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I happened to have the determination to take on a challenge. And, we saw that challenge through. Not just me, but working with a team of people. As you know, from my time at Aer Lingus, I worked very closely with two colleagues there, Brian Dunn and Seamus Carney, and the three of us, I think collectively achieved fantastic things at Aer Lingus. And, that's really defined my career, I suppose.
When you sat in exec meetings, in your weekly exec meetings, how do you choose between your children? I mean, BA is obviously the favoured child since you joined, you were the CEO there. How did you stop yourself?
I think you have to be disciplined. I found it very tough when I became the CEO of Aer Lingus, having been the COO. I found it very tough to let go areas of responsibility that I had, but I learned a lot from that. So the same happened at British Airways, becoming the CEO, and then moving on to IAG. Letting go of the responsibility, particularly for operational issues in British Airways. And I think you just have to do that. You have to have good people with you and around you, and you have to trust them. And I've been very, very lucky, to work with fantastic people over the years.
I've read all the comments where you've said you want to go on holiday, you want to rest, you're going to go and travel and see the places that you've been to but never seen. You're not getting away with that. What are you going to do next? Rumour is, if and when the job at IATA comes up, Willie Walsh is the man.
No, I can honestly tell you, and you've asked me these questions before. I said I would retire when I finished up at IAG. And as you know, I originally said I was going to retire when I was 55. I'm 58, so I'll be 59 this year. So I've stayed on a lot longer than I had expected. And, I'm not looking to do anything else. I think this is an industry that is fascinating and challenging, but, working 12 hours a day, it's only 5 days a week. It was 7 days a week for a long time, but it just gets you after a while, and I'm looking forward to taking a break.
Taking a break. I give him about 6 months, maybe a year, don't know, before we hear what Willie Walsh is up to next.